Welcome back to StartingBlocksOnCleveland.com. I'm Branson Wright. We're here with Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Welcome to Cleveland.
Thank you very much.
Well, before we get into the book and exactly why you're here, Oscar Robertson and Jerry West were here in town, and they seem to suggest that people don't appreciate what they did back in their era. Do you find the same thing when you talk to young people or when young people approach you? Do they know who you are?
Most young people know who I am, probably because they look up to see who ranks where in terms of scoring or records held and stuff like that. So having my name in the record books prominently, I guess that gives me some access to their attention there. I don't understand why they don't appreciate Oscar and Jerry. I saw them play when I was in high school, so I know very well how great they were. But since this generation did not see them and has no idea, it might be difficult for them. On YouTube, there's a clip on Bill Russell about what he did, and if you see that, you get a very vivid idea of what a dominant player he was. Mm-hmm. So all they need to do is make the effort to find out.
Speaking of efforts, the Skyhook, you made famous. You certainly weren't the first one, but you really made it famous. And Rick Barry with the underhand shot for the free throws. You guys were successful in doing that. Why isn't more, or anybody in the NBA doing that? Because it certainly gave you guys some success.
The hook shot probably was going out of style when I learned it in the 1950s. But I held on to it because it was an effective weapon for me. And I think the underhand free throw, the last person to shoot it was George Johnson. He was the center. He shot his free throws underhanded. But it's a very effective way of shooting your free throws. But I think the present generation, they're very much caught up on style as opposed to substance.
Why wouldn't that be cool, the hook shot? I thought it was cool.
It was definitely cool, and certainly after it goes in regularly for you, you will actually definitely believe in it. But I remember there was a center. They tried to show him how to shoot his free throws underhanded, mm-hmm. And he says, "No, it doesn't. I don't like the way it looks." And I think he was like eliminating a potent weapon that he could incorporate into his arsenal that he could master. But that's the attitude that they have. Everybody wants to shoot jump shots, or everybody wants to shoot three-pointers or dunk the basketball. I think what you're talking about really is a consequence of kids not going to college to play basketball. You know, when you go to college, you have to earn your time on the court because there are people that got there before you that deserve to be on the court more than you do. And if that's the case, you have to earn your court time. So in order to do that, you have to learn the game and understand the system and understand what is expected of you from the coaching staff. Most kids now, you know, they go straight from high school into the professional ranks, and they have to learn all of those things on the fly while they're playing professional basketball. And it's very difficult.
Somebody that didn't go to college, LeBron James, what type of pressures is that for a guy like you, like LeBron, that came into the league with a lot of expectations and had some success early on?
Well, LeBron had the talent to live up to the expectations. He certainly has shown everybody that he's probably the most talented player out there on the court right now. Somebody that can do all the things that he can do is definitely a major factor in professional basketball. So it all depends on what the individual has in terms of their own talent and their ability to work hard. LeBron must have an extremely effective work ethic to be able to put the time in and be as determined as he is to live up to what people expect of him. So, my hat's off to him.
Kareem, in your book, On the Shoulders of Giants, My Journey Through the Harlem Renaissance, you talk about how the movement has inspired you. Give us some examples.
Well, the Harlem Renaissance really had to do with what happened in the 1920s and 30s in many of the cities in the Northeast. But Harlem really was the principal city because the black community in Harlem was in the nation's media capital. And anything that black Americans could achieve there would get national attention. So to this day, the 1920s is still known as the Jazz Age, and that's because jazz music and the culture of Black America had a profound effect on American culture. And it had a profound effect on me. Even though I was born in the late 40s, I still was able to be affected by the echoes of the Harlem Renaissance. They all paved the way for all of us who had aspirations to be professional athletes or to do things on a major scale in American life. So we all owe them a debt of gratitude.
When Jim Brown asked you to come here for the Ali Summit here in Cleveland in the late 60s, how much did the Renaissance have an influence on you coming here?
Well, I didn't have to be aware of the Renaissance to want to help Muhammad Ali. He was going up against a stacked deck. We understood that. All Black Americans understood what he was talking about. When he said, "Ain't no Viet Cong ever called me the N-word," Black Americans understood what that meant. You know, why are we going to Vietnam to tell them how to behave politically when we can't get the opportunity to vote or exercise our basic human and civil rights here in America? And Muhammad Ali made that very clear to us and inspired us to try to affect change.
Last question. Describe your journey in putting this book together.
For me, putting this book together was a labor of love. Having people understand who Duke Ellington and Louis Armstrong are is something that I love to explain to people. I'll do it again and again. It gives people an understanding of how Black culture affected American culture. And I think that that's a very important thing, and I enjoy talking about it.